Imagine being bald and having like a high pitched voice.
You get the worst of both worlds.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate style.
Yeah. Anyway. Till this guy spawns in, I think.
I guess we just chat until he decides to show up.
Yeah.
Well, how's your day?
I've just been editing audio all day, and like just an hour of me just like taking in all the and all the sounds from like an hour's worth of audio. I got done before showing up here, so it's all good. I needed to like do the effects and stuff to make it sound all sexy, but like for the most part, all the sounds are gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, I've been doing that, and then like periodically, I've just been going to Schizogram. Schizogram. I don't know how I ended up there, but it's absolutely fucking insane. I don't know who let the schizos get a hold of video editors. And you know what? I'm not totally against it. October will be lit.
Yeah, we got content.
We have content because
so much content.
There's genuinely some pretty good ones. I sent you one about like mysteries, like like items that have gone missing. I'm like, hold on, this was a pretty good one.
Skitstober.
Write that down. Write that down.
Skitstober.
Write that down.
Man, we got a lot of future events we're hyping up this season.
Yeah, we are.
Skitstober.
Yes. I love how bat fucking shit insane some people are. Because it's genuinely just like, oh, you made that up, but this sounds so good listening to. What was another one I saw? I saw some about some alien. I saw one about lost continents. I'm like, I don't really know how this is creepy. I saw Emaru on there. I'm like, isn't that fucking meme? And shit about like random stuff happening. I don't know. There was a lot today in terms of creepy content. I was just surrounding myself in creepy content like I regularly do while watching stuff. I was watching a kind of like a breakdown of Skinamarink. It's like a
Skinamarink.
Skinamarink or Skinamarink?
The movie.
Yeah, that one. I mispronounced it.
That was a crappy movie.
Really?
Yeah, I had to watch it at 2x speed just for anything to happen.
Oh, I thought it was really good.
That was a terrible movie. Ask this guy. Hold on, now we have to. I'm potentially gonna have to refocus the camera now that he just walked right in front of it. But ask Colby about that movie. Ask him.
Skinamarink. I thought it was actually
Skinamarink.
Marink. I say Marink.
Oh my!
I thought it was pretty good.
Hated that movie.
Really? Damn.
Terrible.
I'm always against the popular ideas, I guess, but
that was popular.
Wasn't it popular? Like everyone was talking about how it was the scariest movie.
It was a scary movie, and it was so bad and boring.
So boring.
Basically, it was the equivalent of having that TV, the way it is right now, blank screen. That was what we watched for 2 hours.
I think we even sped up the movie.
We did 2 times
it was just
speed.
like wasn't even scary.
Oh, it was.
You watched it?
Oh, kind of. I watched an explained video talking about most of it.
That's why you only watched like 10 minutes of a 2-hour movie.
It was somebody talking the whole time.
No, it was as long as the movie.
What?
Yeah, they talked for like 2 hours.
Well, they're still talking.
Just stare at a wall and start whispering yourself. That's pretty much the movie.
Do you guys know what are we talking about the same movie?
Yes,
Skinamarink. Where it's like it goes like it shows like a empty hallway and you see like a shadow walk by. And it's like and like the TV is playing something.
Okay, we were watching the same thing. No, I thought it was actually pretty psychologically interesting.
Yeah, because you had commentary the whole time.
Well, no, for the most part, like there would only be commentary every like few minutes, and then it would like play the clips and stuff. So it basically was the entire movie, and I was like, it's pretty good.
No.
I was psychologically
boring movie. Such a boring and dumb movie.
It's on par with Ghost Story. That's how terrible it was for us.
Damn. That's different opinions here, boys. I was like, damn, the psychological horror of all of this is kind of cool.
I really don't understand. Like,
it was pretty abstract horror, I will admit.
Extremely abstract.
It's so abstract that you can't see it.
I think that was the entire point, because it's like a child's memory. And it was like how only it's like bits and pieces and fuzzy.
I'll give it that. I think it's very clever, but they should have
tried.
They should have amped it. Like they can't they should have paced it. They can't do that the whole movie.
I guess that makes sense. I was kind of getting that feeling too.
Like
But
that-
I thought it was cool.
The entirety of that movie could have fit in like 30 minutes.
Well, the guy who ends up who made the movie was just like an indie guy, and like he did
Yeah.
like short story stuff. He did another one called Heck. I watched that one independently, like earlier in the day. That one was cool. It was only 30 minutes, and it was just basically a kid and his mom in hell, but their hell was their living room. It's kind of interesting.
So it's like the same thing.
No, it was. It literally was. He stated in an interview like he based off Skinamaroo off of that one. I thought it was neat. I thought it was cool. I was like, there's a pretty. I don't know. I think I'm more artsy than you guys. I like
No.
It's definitely
No.
not true.
I don't know about that.
I agree that it was clever and it was new, but I just the pacing, like you can't have the pacing like that the whole time.
I'm not artsy in that category.
Yeah.
I'm artsy in the analyzing and dissecting part.
I mean, like anyone could hide a story.
Not anybody can hide a story, but not anybody can hide it and do it good. That's the
Well,
thing.
he didn't do it good.
I thought he did it good. I was like, "Fuck, this is pretty good." Because
If you need an explained video to understand what's going on, then you probably don't have a very good movie.
that's like every fucking that. Okay, I don't think that applies because that's every movie now. Because everybody just wants it spoon fed to you.
Well, that just means the audience is getting dumber.
Well, that's just an audience problem at that point. But no, I thought it was just neat. I was like, this is analog horror, and I think there's better analog horror out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of abstract ones. You know what? I will give my controversial opinion. The Mandela Catalog one. I'm not a big fan of that one. I think it's kind of meh. I know it got really popular. Just wasn't really into it.
I think we saw that. We didn't watch it, but we kind of
The Godzilla one, on the other hand, that one stupid as fuck, but really entertaining for no goddamn reason.
Interesting enough.
You know, I was like, a guy gets trapped inside a Godzilla costume. All right, let's see where this goes.
All right.
And he starts just slowly becoming Godzilla. Okay, no, this is pretty interesting.
Very, very strange.
Yeah.
So I would
Very
like to
strange.
clarify some things. I woke up this morning and watched your guys' show, and this guy right here, you see that guy right there?
I see that little
He
doodad.
said, I hate New York, which isn't true. I really enjoyed New York. I love New York.
Uh-huh.
The food was not good. That's all I say.
So I automatically hate New York. If the food ain't good, you hate New York.
I've never heard him say anything other than the food. So
'Cause that's always-
I just had to assume that he hated New York.
No,
I've never heard him say anything positive.
I
Name one thing right now. One positive thing about New York.
the park, Central Park,
Okay, other than the green.
the energy.
Okay.
Going like that's why I think you guys should. I want people to go there because it's like a different feeling there. It's crazy. Like you have to be there to like understand. Like you look at pictures, like
Was there a
it's just buildings.
Was there a single garbage can out there? Just curious.
I don't think so.
Spawn a
Now that I
garbage
think
can in
about
New
it.
York?
Kids, they just put it in the legislation to have garbage cans on the street now. The
I
mayor just barely put that in.
Yeah, then no.
That's
But
wild.
the whole time going there, like it's crazy. Like once it's sundown, it is freezing in Manhattan. Well, I can't really talk about outside Manhattan. I was just in Manhattan pretty much. Manhattan. But like it just reeks of urine too.
It's New York.
It's a major city. It's gonna smell like that.
Yeah. And then it gets hot when the sun's above you. It is hot in there. But then once it goes down, it's like a fridge. It's crazy.
The East Coast sucks.
But no, it's cool. It's fun walking around. You know, it's pretty organized in a way where you can actually travel long distances.
Did you go to
and
Delhi 47? That's what I would
No.
do. I think they actually got rid of Delhi 47.
Isn't that the place that Etika always talked about?
Yeah, I know. I want to go there now.
We went to Disney. That's the one place I remember. It is a pretty good Disney store.
Oh, the Nintendo shop.
And then
That's
the
another
Nintendo
one.
shop too.
And then one of the
I think we went there.
one of the manga places there has a picture done by one of the author of Vagabond. Like he went there and painted it. I kind of want to visit that place too.
Yeah, it's a good place to go, but that's my opinion. Is
Like,
the food is just
Out of 10, what would you rate it?
New York?
Yeah.
I'd say 9.
Damn.
Dang, so the food's the only thing.
But the food,
One
yeah, that's what I'm
point
saying.
gone.
Like
Where
I
did you-
had
where did you
McDonald's. It was
That was the first problem.
He had
McDonald's.
Okay, but-
McDonald's and Subway.
Here's the thing: you're comparing foods that you have at your house or at your home state, right?
Uh huh.
It was awful. It was the worst McDonald's I ever had, the worst Subway I ever had. And then my brother's like, "Oh, we're gonna get you pizza. This is the best part of New York." It was like I would rather have Tony's pizza than that pizza. It was awful. It was cut all jacket. Like that's not gonna change the taste, but it was sloppy. And I was like, "Man, you're gonna really talk all this talk because it's not just Cliff that says, oh, the New York pizza is the best. It's like everyone, oh, hey, you try the New York pizza, it's the best." And it's like, all right, I'll give it a try. And I was like,
so
this is the worst.
The theory that Cliff just took you to the worst places might be the truth.
You know, it's possible, but I'm just saying when I was there, the food was terrible. That's what I'm saying.
Does Valley had pizza, fucking McDonald's and Subway?
Pizza, McDonald's, Subway.
You didn't even try like any spaghetti
donuts.
or something?
No.
Wait,
like fresh donuts.
You went. Hold on, I gotta say this out loud. You went to New York, and out of all the subs and or sandwiches you
Not
had,
even a local place.
you never went to a local place.
It wasn't
You
me.
didn't go to a deli.
How old was I?
You were.
remember
This was
my
like
age.
4, 5.
No, I was in my 20-ish.
You must have been like 21.
Yeah, probably 22.
I think
Cliff was a planner. He was supposed to, he thought because he was visiting people, he thought he was going to get dinners with them, but it didn't pan out to that. So we just kind of, I was like, Cliff, can we go to a good place? He's like, I don't know where. And he goes like, oh.
So you use Google.
I don't know what happened. We ate a hot dog.
Was it
on
good?
Central. It's pricey. It was like, I think $8, which I'm pretty
Colby
sure now it's even more.
About 20.
So a decade ago.
It was like a standard hot dog. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, oh.
So if you go to New York, apparently, don't expect any good food.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, I was expecting, like, you know how they always, like, all the movies, like, you know what, that New York, oh, it's so good. No, it's not good. The people are awful. The people are worse than the food. The people are worse than the food.
So far, the
stereotypes are all right.
This is what he repeats all the time. So I just have to assume that Colby.
Those are the two things I don't like about New York. Everything else, like the buildings, the energy, it's all cool. The stores.
I haven't had any like actual interactions with. No, actually, I have. I had actually an interaction with the. You know what? I'm gonna maybe agree. Maybe just New Yorkers are just insufferable. Like the whole state. The whole state is insufferable.
They're just, well, look what they're eating, what they have to deal with every day, like the hot, cold temp swapping and the pee, urine stained streets.
They're fucking giga-sized rats.
So I'm sure the people outside the city are nice, but the people inside the city are like
miserable.
Throw all of New York out.
Well, another thing, hey, PlayStation 5 does have good games.
Colby, I just thought of this on the drive home. By you saying that the PlayStation 5, by having Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Here's the thing, though.
No, hold on. By you saying those two games are the reason why the PlayStation 5 should be S tier, that should also mean that the PlayStation 1 should have been S tier because it had Final Fantasy VII Original.
And Metal Gear?
And Metal Gear.
But they're not the greatest games ever made.
I kind of had to agree with them. Like, those are pretty good games.
Yeah, it's crappy I have the same opinion for the PS1 as I do for the PlayStation 5.
Oh, it's such a good console. And just because, if all the exclusives for PlayStation didn't exist on PC, guess what? PC players been like, well, what can we have your exclusive?
Why am I getting? I didn't even say anything. Why am I catching strays?
I'm saying that's why you guys are like, oh, PC is the best. But like,
I never said that.
But if
this is all directed towards me. I didn't say shit. Why did they say fuck me for?
That's where I stand. I still think that's a good console. And guess what?
Good but disappointing.
I don't know. There's still more games coming out. Monster Hunter, once Monster Hunter comes out, man, that game's gonna be so good.
That's on Xbox too.
I know, but like it's still a good console.
I think after one point, exclusives just don't matter anymore.
I think so. That's what I'm trying to say. Like if it's exclusive only, then Nintendo just sweeps everything.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But like the consoles, like the 64 wasn't all that great, you know?
Well, yeah.
When you really look at it. All right, let's move on. That's the only things I want to talk about.
Okay, Alex had an idea for the episode today. Alex, you want to explain to Colby what?
Are we still going with the football cult stuff?
Yeah, I have it researched.
Oh, so how many days ago was it? Was it yesterday or the day before?
Today. Or yesterday.
Yesterday, I was on Schizogram once again, like we originally said. We never did the intro.
Oh, welcome to the podcast. You know the name already, you clicked on it. I'm the host, Caleb, co-host Alex, Colby, who's here, but we have to speed through because he has to leave.
Yeah, we'll look at the industry express. So I was on Schizogram, and apparently there was this like Mr. Incredible reaction images to like a whole bunch of football conspiracies. Oh man, this is pretty neat. And we went down it. And at one point, there was just some fucking odd ones. I'm like, how does this relate to football? And I said, great conversation.
Should I pull up the original video?
Yes.
Colby already knows. Yes. Alex sent me even more.
I did. I sent him so many. October will be lit. I love Schizo Instagram. It is so fun. You weren't here for that conversation. It is just insane what the human mind will come up with, and I just love it. And it's so fun.
Okay, so here's the video that Alex sent me. So it's American football lore. It's the title. There's, oh my gosh, it goes too fast. So there's an NFL kicker won MVP 1980. NFL script is scripted. Lost footage of first recorded one's point safety. Retirement of 1985 Chicago Bears. The Johnny Knox injury. Now it starts to slow down.
Yeah, now it's
the Mike Webster interview.
I want to know.
American football was originally a fertility cult. Chuck Hughes, October 24th, 1971. Carolina Panthers, 1997 to 2001 events.
Well, that one.
What was that?
The Carolina Panthers, 1997 to 2001 events. And then this one is defensive 1-point safety has never been scored in the NFL. So I went ahead and I researched all of those.
And
I have the facts.
Okay.
And I'll read them off to you. So we'll go from the top. NFL kicker won MVP in 1980. That one was already factually wrong. It actually won in 1982. Mm-hmm. The kicker was Mark Mosley from the Washington Redskins. So 1982 season had a 57-day player strike that made the season go from 16 games to 9. And Mosley was a straight-ahead kicker and one of the last kickers to use the toe to kick rather than the instep of the foot. So, like, you know how that is, right?
Yeah, soccer players hate toe kickers.
Yeah, so he was the last person to do that. And in 1982, he was the only person using that technique. Mm-hmm. And he was a 12-year veteran at the time who almost didn't start the season, but was able to prove himself. And that year, the team ended the regular season with an 8-1 record. So they did extremely well for a 9-game season. During the season, he had a 95.2% accuracy on field goals, making 20 of the 21 attempts. Making this more impressive is that these kicks were the ones that decided a majority of their wins during the season. And to this day, he is still Washington's leading point scorer.
Like all time?
All time.
What the wait? How?
What the fuck? Don't know how. But
is that the conspiracy? Like, how is he?
It wasn't even a conspiracy. That was just a fact.
Or okay, hold on. Let me big brain this real quick. Is the reason why it's on this list is because of the strike? And who was on the MVP list that year?
I didn't read into that specifically. But honestly, that probably is what it was about. Was the strike had a lot of players just not performing.
I'd have to ask my dad.
And so,
to be fair, like the players back then were so garbage and so unhealthy. Like,
yeah,
when Barry Sanders got in,
rules.
When Barry Sanders got into the league, like he was running circles around people, and because he was healthy, he actually practiced and ate healthy, and like people were.
I heard superhuman. How does he do it? I eat my vegetables.
Well, like even when in the Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. He's talking about how people would walk in during break and take a smoke break. That's how it was too for football. Like people were just smoking. It's like real, and you can watch the film. Like so sluggish, you can outrun any one of those players. Like how were they ever considered professional? Like compared to now, those people are freaks running. Whatever.
Maybe Wilt Chamberlain was that ass.
Sending Derrick Henry back to 1982.
Oh my! It was just
is this Captain America?
That's interesting. So I wonder why did he do anything in 1991? Because you said the date was wrong.
91?
Or what was the date? Because you said it was
1982 that he won. They said it was 1980.
That's weird.
So we're going to go through a lot of this where I was reading the comments because I couldn't find any like sources that backed a lot of these ideas. And it was just basically, it seems like whoever made the original video just made some of these up.
Yes, my favorite.
They just came up with
What's your source? I made it the fuck up.
So the next one is the NFL being scripted. According to the poster, the script idea was most notably said by the Texans running back Adrian Foster when he claimed that practices were simply going over the week's script, which could just be another way of saying that they're just going over their game plan. Either way, this has not been corroborated by any coaches or players outside of Aaron Rodgers, who probably isn't always the most reliable source.
That man in his ending years of his career was literally seeing shadow demons.
He's seeing shadow demons.
This is on. Why wasn't that on the list?
Exactly. That's what I was wondering too. That's how I know this guy. Whoever made this list probably didn't watch football.
So the script thing. You want to talk about the script thing?
Hold on. I still have a little more. This theory has taken many forms throughout the years, but there hasn't really been anything that's been proven outright. There's the Super Bowl color theory that was sort of recent, that the Super Bowl logo colors are a hint to what teams will appear in the Super Bowl, but that also was kind of debunked when last Super Bowl they were both red teams and it was supposed to be purple and red. A lot of what could be
supposed to win.
So a lot of what could be attributed to script could just be the league having a bias towards certain teams.
That is true.
I think it is. I think there's a lot of money on football. And I think
you can't really script the sport, but you can make sure that it kind of goes in a direction that you prefer.
One thing I did not ever believe in the scripted stuff until the Titans went into Missouri to play against the Chiefs, and like there was just phantom calls everywhere. It's like I did not want to believe, because you know how much I love football. I did not want to believe that they script things like that. And then it's just like, you see Derrick Henry, like they go by this specific game plan, the Titans do, where they just run, and then the team just breaks and they run all over them, and then they throw all over them, and as soon as that happened, they broke the team. There was these phantom hold plays, and then like they showed the play, and there was like no holding. It's just a standard block, and then there goes that touchdown. Pull it back.
When you look at any like major Chiefs game, like especially postseason, you'll always see stuff like that. So I don't think it's not scripted, because if it was scripted, then it'd just be an outright Chiefs win.
Yeah,
but it's definitely like bias where like the refs are feeling more. I feel like the refs are feeling more obligated to call.
I think the owners might have.
Major League Sports just hire criminals. If anything,
Probably, yeah.
No, they literally do. The Atlanta Braves have several criminals. My dad literally says when a guy scores, he goes, "Wife beater." He scored. No, he does. So I will say this in terms of script. I know there was one thing in terms of broadcasting where they're like, technically the NFL is under like entertainment and not actually specifically sports. So technically, legally,
they could just script it.
Yes,
but from what I've heard from other sources, is there's no need to script it, and it's also extremely hard to script something like football.
If anything,
like you can
just
script
be cheating.
You can script wrestling because you can basically have them do whatever, and it's like person-on-person contact. But when it comes to like football,
it's way too complicated. There's way too many people.
There's too many factors, and there's definitely no way somebody would get a career-ending injury because the script said so.
Yeah, I think
they could potentially die for the script.
I think it's very possible too. Like I didn't believe in this stuff either, but I think maybe there's like psychics that can maybe foresee things. They don't have anything to do with.
I didn't think we're getting this crazy. We got psychics in the NFL.
Listen, not in the NFL. I think maybe some people know some people.
We have psychic scripters in the NFL.
Listen to this though. Did you know Tom Brady's wife or his ex-wife considered herself a witch and would give him tips and hints on what to do that season?
Why wasn't that on the list?
I told you this guy didn't watch. The guy who made the thing didn't watch
October,
football.
We will do a super proper thing where you make a list, an iceberg basically of all the football shit you know, and we'll do it for the first week. You have to show up in October to do this.
Somebody who actually watches the sport.
That is your job. October, right, you could partner with your brother to make it easier.
Something out. Also, I wanted I wanted to tell you guys or talk to you guys because Caleb was excited about this. I was like, I want to talk about like God, and Caleb's like, yes, I want you to do that. And like my idea of what, like I need like a board though. I need to write.
We can do like a
down
cosmic horror episode in like October. We have so many October ideas. October,
Skitstober.
yes, Skitstober will
Going
be
down
wild.
the crazy rabbit holes.
Well, anyway, since we're short on time with Colby being here, should we move on to the next one?
Yes.
But yeah, it's most likely not scripted, but totally
100%
rigged.
Biased, yes.
biased. It's biased in a lot of ways.
Highly.
There's no way, as competitive as most of these players are, there's no way they'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll lose like that. You know
Unless
what
you
I mean?
offered a lot of money in their face underneath the table.
I can see one player, I can see
But
one player
to
throwing the
convince
game,
a whole
team.
organization
I'd be
to
wild.
throw a game.
or even a coach.
A coach I would see like doing a bad play, that would make sense. On a player level, no. But the higher you get up, there's definitely some sketch ass decisions.
Oh yeah.
Like ever since like I realized like baseball is like fucking sketchy as fuck. I'm like, what about these other sports? FIFA? Oh god, soccer is bad. Soccer is really bad.
I hate watching soccer, men's soccer. Specifically.
The women's soccer.
Go
peak.
girls.
Oh, hey!
Peak.
Also in that a video I watched with you guys, you're making fun of Caleb for volleyball. I'm pretty sure I'm the one that put on the volleyball. I'm pretty
Colby,
sure.
what were you watching there?
I just love because the women are more competitive. Like it's more. I don't know.
He was totally checking them out. I know it. You're not a sinner. You on the other hand, you're a sinner.
Hey,
No, I watched all of it. I love.
Yeah,
watching
I know what you were
Olympics.
watching.
The Olympics
Big
are
Booter.
so good. That's what I was trying to tell Alex.
I did watch the guys volleyball too, but the women's one, I don't know.
The beach volleyball is just the only one on.
It was fun to watch too, in the way you're thinking.
He at least admitted that. All right. Anyway, next one.
Okay, so the next one was the lost footage of the first 1 point safety, which, I mean, there really wasn't much to consider there. It's
You know
just lost footage.
So, lost media, wild. So I guess you guys can explain it to me since I'm not the biggest football head in the room. I just like the drama. What is a 1 point safety?
Ooh, I actually wrote that down since there was no information.
Good.
So it's an extremely rare play that only ever occurs. It only really occurs in college and has never happened in the NFL. To get the 1 point safety, a defensive player has to retreat into his own end zone following an interception, fumble, or block kick on a conversion attempt, and then he's tackled there, and then the tackling team is given 1 point. So basically, offense loses ball to defense.
Okay.
Defense somehow gets in their own end zone and gets tackled by offense. Offense gets 1 point.
Now they call it a safety. It's a 2 point safety, I think. I think it's happened before.
They buffed it.
No, it hasn't happened. It still hasn't happened in the NFL.
I thought there has been where
there's
someone
still
got like a
safeties.
punt return and then they like kneeled back and they got a safety.
That was college.
So you were thinking
It happens multiple times in college because they're incompetent.
Yes.
I mean, they're pretty
And they're
stupid
literal
too in the NFL. They drop the ball right at the line.
Yeah.
Well, that
right
one says you have
before
to be
they cross.
specifically tackled. They need.
Oh, okay.
But even then,
So wait, no, yeah, because that was counted as a touchback then.
yeah.
Well, if you're in the end zone still, it's a touchback. But if you walk out and then go back in, then it's a safety.
Well, it still wasn't a 1 point safety. It was just a normal safety.
That's kind of weird. Then, in general, why would you get a point?
So I wonder if the conspiracy is that it's a made up rule and they kind of try to block it out, try to wash it out.
That would
it's
make sense.
I think what it basically is, it's like the most, because it's so impossible to happen that you actually like have to try to make that thing happen.
But even then, who made the rule? Because that's a really
Well, they probably had to think of that up. They're like, at some point, somebody had to have thought of that probability. Because I think even as a kid, I thought of that. I was like, what happens if this happens? Not realizing how impossible that could possibly be.
That's really
So
weird.
somebody made that rule at some point because they woke up in a cold sweat and they're like, holy crap.
I need to do that.
They're like,
Just in case.
They're like Oppenheimer with the atom bomb. They're like, wait, if this happens and this happens, it's a 1 point safety.
You have to watch a goofy animation on how
Oh my gosh,
football's
that's so
rules are
good.
made. They just kind of make it up on the fly. They're just like, oh yeah, this rule and this and
No, maybe it was in this lost piece of media. That was the first. They made the rule right then when that safety appeared.
maybe.
I don't even know how you would justify getting okay, my brain here, not a football guy, remember. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about this. Why would you get a point in the first place?
Yeah, they usually go by twos and
well, it's
sixes.
I think it's because it's still a safety, but like at this point it's lost all meaning because the defense was just as incompetent as the offense.
I think maybe as a made up thing though, because the PAT is an extra point, so maybe they got confused and they're like, oh, you know what? We don't know what to do, so we'll just give you the extra point.
I mean, I feel like that makes sense. I mean, on the fly, something just absolutely improbable happened, so they're like, you know what? Screw it. Offense gets the point because they made the tackle.
That is a mind-bogglingly like dumbass rule. It's like sure, it could hypothetically happen, but
it did happen.
Weird. Yeah, or the one time it did.
But it's happened multiple times in college.
That is so weird.
That's why the rule exists in the form that it does, because it has happened, just not the NFL.
I made a cartoon based off of football rules. You guys should tag it in the video.
Is it based on football rules, or is it just
like fun
of football?
Well, it was like a parody of Goofy, which was making fun of the rules.
Okay. Next one, I guess.
All right, the retirement of the 1985 Bears. The 1985 Bears wrapped and shuffled their way to win over New England in Super Bowl XX, which I think that's 20, right? Okay, so in Super Bowl 20 in 1986, with a colorful cast of characters, perhaps the greatest single season achievement by any pro sports team in Chicago history. Unfortunately, a lot of the players on this team had sad lives post-retirement. Walter Payton got cancer. Dave Duersons committed suicide. Jim McMahon's had a painkiller addiction and likely CTE related early onset dementia. And Richard Dent had a amphetamine addiction.
Oh, great.
So that one's basically just a sad reality with success that sometimes things still can go wrong.
Well, what year was it?
86.
Yeah, kind of makes sense. They're all bad. We all saw those older clips. They can't move. Yeah. So it's just like I can't.
Well, I mean, they also had absolutely zero safety regulations.
Yeah, like these guys were.
The owner definitely bought the championship that year.
It was scripted.
It was rigged.
Yeah, rigged. Like that's just it's sad, but like, wow, you guys are like, even at the time, like, the NFL was really good back then, right? It was still making like a lot of money for
80s,
players.
Not really.
Well, I mean,
it boomed like in the 2000s, I'd say.
I don't know. It was kind of like.
Super Bowl 20. So
I don't think it peaked in the 2000s. I think it kind of was still just going on strong since the 80s.
Yeah. No, I'm saying because baseball has always been the biggest sport, and it wasn't until like 2010 probably that's when the football was the highest market for a sport.
I think I saw something similar to that. But we have to remember, ticket sales for the MLB are fucking funny as fuck. They're like, we will give you this ticket. I don't know. We are giving you this ticket.
Because nobody really wants to watch baseball, so they just make them as cheap as possible so people just keep coming in to watch the most boring sport.
If you buy this hot dog, we will give you 20 tickets and a beer.
Sorry, Fry, I had to say it, but they basically have to bribe you to watch baseball because it's so boring.
Yes, but I won't lie. Up until recently, thanks to that fucking clock rule for the pitches, it's become way more watchable.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah, I've been getting into like more Atlanta stuff. Nice. That's why I've been always saying, "Oh, we just have criminals on our team."
Criminals.
So yeah, it's just
anyway. Right. Next one. This one should be something Colby's fairly aware of, and probably could have a little more insight on the Johnny Knox injury. Bears receiver Johnny Knox suffered an injury in 2011, ending a potentially successful career. Apparently, the day after the game, the Bears said that the injury was not career-threatening, but they would be very wrong. And I mean, I watched the clip, and they were very wrong. It happened December 18th, 2011 against the Seahawks. With 4 minutes left in the game, Knox was attempting to recover a fumble when he collided with 6'3", 272-pound defensive end Anthony Hargrove.
Oh my God.
When watching the replay, you can see Knox's back basically bends completely backwards in the middle of his back.
Oh.
Like his spine was bent completely backwards.
I want you to know the first time I watched it, I looked up that video in specific and immediately regretted it. That's why I'm curling. It's
bad.
It's gross.
Like I had to, like, I couldn't really see it until like they really got the certain angle, and I was like, oh. Good Lord. But yeah, it was called a thoracolumbar fracture dislocation. And since the injury, Knox walks with a limp and is unable to stand without discomfort. The Bears released Knox on February 12th, 2013. And the next day, he announced his retirement.
So a lot of that, with that conspiracy or whatever,
I don't think these aren't even really conspiracies. These are just like ideas. These are just things that
is there a conspiracy that we should know about?
Well, the franchise tries to screw you over and they try to save as much money as they can. Yeah. So they'll call it something else, you know, sometimes for that reason, you know, they were probably trying to save money, not to legal issues or whatever, trying to not pay him out so much money. Mm-hmm. They're probably on borderline of, you know, scraping by with their, was it cap their salary. Mm-hmm. But other times they do that as like a tactic so the other team they play next week won't prepare for that person, or they do prepare for that person. But I think it's more money.
It was 100% money, because there's no way any of those people who were at that game saw his spine get folded like a lawn chair and say, yeah, he's going to be playing again.
Poor guy, dude.
No, it's so bad. I won't show the video.
It's bad.
But it's extremely bad.
There's a lot of bad injuries.
I think the NFL has by far the single most worst clips ever.
A guy
That's
died.
pretty bad.
Yeah,
we're going to get to that.
Yeah. That's on the list.
That is on the list?
It's on the list.
Oh. How much more time do we have? Or how much longer?
We got 2 more until we get to the one.
Okay.
So the Mike Webster interview is the next one. This interview was meant to show the effects of CTE, or chronic trauma encephalopathy. In the interview, he is largely incoherent and struggled to form sentences. Once he passed on, his autopsy revealed just how severe the CTE actually was. And basically he had such a bad concussion that he was no longer like mentally sound anymore and like physically not okay.
So what year was that interview? Do you know?
I think it was like the 90s, early 2000s.
Because it wasn't until, you're gonna have to correct us, Colby. When did they start like heavily enforcing like basically wearing full body?
I think one of the players, which I think his name was Zach. Is a linebacker, killed himself. He was saying something about he was going to sue the football or the NFL. That was Junior Seau. I think that's what it was. Junior Seau. He was a linebacker. So it had to have been like around 2013, I think that all started.
I think since this specific interview, though, there's been slowly increasing numbers of like
protective for
safety regulations being added.
And let's see if you remember this. They're trying to protect the image of the NFL. Trying to protect, that was the biggest thing. Do you remember that ever being said?
I think so.
The integrity of the sport and all that stuff.
The integrity of the
sport. It wasn't it wasn't really about the players.
No,
it was just about
they didn't want to lose money. Yeah.
Oh, I'm brain dead. Why are you brain dead? Because of football sponsors. I don't know if we can really, accept a sport that does brain dead. We'll start giving them helmets.
You can't be saying that, because what about our future? What about the future athletes? What are you thinking about that? I'm going to silence you.
Yeah, I guess they also did not have the medical technology to really know until this point how bad their brains were getting destroyed.
I have many conspiracy theories, very logical ones. I'm not thinking fucking aliens are going to fucking start teleporting into my room or anything. But I do have a conspiracy theory that just the 80s, everybody just got conscious and were like, I think we should just start putting on fucking helmets on people. Because, battering our heads together is bad.
Yeah, it's very bad.
You just realized that now? I swear, the 80s, and specific 86 to 88, there was just some weird shenanigans in those years. I might make a whole video on it or sometime, or maybe
with the music too, or
The music too.
Probably, yeah.
Everything with the 80s were weird. I don't know why, dude.
The US was really like, let's just try everything.
I won't lie. I will say this is just my take is like America really did peak in like the late 80s, early 90s.
I said that to Caleb. I said that to Caleb. All, you can tell it's reflective of the music.
The Reaganomics just slowly destroyed the country.
Exactly. I hate Reagan.
I got to get going soon. So is this last one?
We got 3 more.
3 more.
So there's American football was originally a fertility cult, which from what I could see, there's
nothing to say about that.
From what I could see, there's absolutely no evidence that proves that this claim is true at all. American football actually it was just a subset of rugby that in itself was just part of what soccer was, which in itself had origins in Mesoamerica, which wasn't a fertility cult. It was the native peoples having a sacred ritual where the losing team would just get sacrificed to the gods. So it had nothing to do with fertility. But
wait. Were the sacrifices for fertility?
No, it was just to the god of the sun.
That's it.
Yeah, that is what happened.
That's what it was.
Hold on, wait a minute. I might have to big brain this.
And it was kind of like football, I believe. It wasn't like soccer. It was a lot like football.
I think it's more like rugby.
So it was a mix of the both. I think technically, why it's saying fertility, I have to go into my Mesoamerican history
to bring out to flourish.
To, like, make it.
Yeah, I think the
sacrifice.
sun in general just doesn't represent the actual sun.
It's like
everything.
life.
Yeah, it's life in general. So I
Light,
think the fertility is like loosely based off of that.
I think they just
bringing good.
It's a long string of babies.
They phrased that so bad.
Yeah,
but
because it's not a cult, is literally indigenous peoples doing their religious rites.
I mean, also the gladiators killed. Like that was just for fun. That was even for sacrifice.
I mean,
throw the Christians from
what I read too. Like the losing team was honored to be sacrificed.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
They actually were like proud. They're like, all right, let's go meet God.
Weird to me.
It's weird to us, but I mean that's what
it
they
should
wanted.
be renamed. Football comes from Mexico or something.
Central Mexico. That's basically what it should come down to.
Yeah.
So stupid.
They try to stretch it.
It's in quotations, fertility, but not really.
Yeah, it's not that at all. But like the only thing that could
it's
possibly
like a legal argument or something.
The only thing that's possibly somewhat associated with football is that there have been players who join cults or become cultist leaders.
There is a lot of this guy went missing. People. I'll make the list.
Yeah, you're gonna need to. First week of October.
Because former Packer player Kabir Gabaja Bamila, he made his own cult after he retired.
Gosh.
And was he the leader?
He was a leader.
Interesting. What did he specifically do?
It doesn't sound like they really did anything crazy. They did get in some legal trouble, but nothing like actually
bat fucking sane.
Charlestown bad.
Okay. All right, is this the last one?
2 more.
2 more. Okay, we got it.
So Chuck Hughes, October 24th, 1971. Detroit Lions 28-year-old receiver Chuck Hughes suddenly collapsed at the end of the fourth quarter in the game against the Bears. Mm-hmm. The teams played the last 62 seconds of the game while he was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately, he was pronounced dead an hour later with the cause of death being ruled a heart attack. An autopsy confirmed Hughes suffered from arteriosclerosis, the heart disease, which is basically just your blood gets kind of thickened and when on
coagulates.
The heart. Hughes had complained of pain in his stomach and chest, but no doctor had found evidence of this disease despite numerous tests. And the Lions after this retired his number 85. Right. And then the final one, the Carolina Panthers, 1997 to 2001.
I'm curious about this one.
This one's a little long. During this time, the Panthers ended their season 7-9, 4-12, 8-8, 7-9, and 1-15. These less than stellar seasons were accompanied by the crimes committed by former wide receiver Ray Kurath, who was convicted for conspiracy to commit murder.
Huh?
So I got most of this from Wikipedia. In 2001, he was found guilty of conspiring the murder of his then girlfriend, Cherika Adams, who was pregnant with his child. including pretrial confinement. He served 18 years of an 18 to 24-year sentence in the North Carolina State
Remember when I
Prison
said
System.
they hire criminals?
And was released from the Sampson Correctional Institute in Clinton, North Carolina on October 22nd, 2018. On November 16th, 1999, near Kurth's home in Charlotte, North Carolina, Jerica Adams, a real estate agent he had been dating, was shot 4 times using a .357 caliber Charter Arms revolver by Van Brett Watkins Sr., a nightclub manager and associate of Kurth. Adams managed to call 911 and said that Kurth had stopped his vehicle in front of hers and that another vehicle drove alongside and its passenger had shot her. Kurth then drove away from the scene. Adams was 8 months pregnant with Kurth's child at the time. Soon after her admission to the hospital, she fell into a coma. Doctors delivered the baby via emergency C-section. Kurth went to the police and posted a $3 million bail on condition that if either Adams or the infant died, he would turn himself in. Adams died on December 14th, 1999. The baby, named Chancellor Lee Adams, survived, but suffered permanent brain damage and cerebral palsy as a result of being without oxygen for 70 minutes before he was born. Chancellor Lee graduated from Vance High School in 2021 at the age of 21.
Good job.
Kurth quickly fled after Adams' death, so I guess he gave up on turning himself in.
What a psychopath.
Was captured on December 15th in West Tennessee, found hiding in the trunk of a car outside a motel in Parker's Crossroads. The trunk also contained $3,900 cash, bottles of his urine, extra clothes, candy bars, and a cell phone. The Panthers waived him on December 16th, citing a morals clause in his contract, and the NFL suspended him indefinitely on December 17th. At trial, prosecutors contended that Kurth hired Watkins and others to murder Adams because of her refusal to abort their unborn child. Kurth's lawyer, David Rudolph, claimed that Kurth had been caught up in some drug deal gone bad. They claimed that on the night of the shooting, after Kurth had refused to fund the drug deal, Watkins shot Adams in a sudden rage when she flipped him off after he had attempted to ask her about Kurth's whereabouts. Kurth was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, shooting into an occupied vehicle and using an instrument to destroy an unborn child. He was found not guilty of first-degree murder, sparing him from possible execution. Kurth was sentenced to 18 years and 11 months to 24 years and 4 months in prison. Watkins, he got out, I think, 2018?
Yeah.
And he died December 3rd, 2023.
Oh, huh.
What in the... And you know what? You know what the wild thing is? There's still a lot of cases like this just in the NFL. This is normal.
I'm going to put in the iceberg. Alex says all of them are criminals.
They're all criminals.
You know what? Maybe we have to do a format. Get my dad after work. Dad, can you explain to me why the NFL hires criminals?
Money.
I'm sure they're easily manipulated, you know.
Because wasn't the 2008 Florida Gators college team just
Aaron Hernandez?
Yeah, all of them just criminals.
I don't know. I don't know if they were criminals before. I think it's a lot of the time. Probably the head injuries get to them at some point. The money and power get to them. So they don't hire criminals, but they do progressively become criminals at an alarming rate.
I gotta go.
Okay.
Thanks for having
Don't
me,
walk
guys.
in front of the camera.
Okay. I will be back with
football facts in October.
Football facts.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the next time you see Colby too.
Yeah,
He's gonna be busy the next couple months.
Yeah, he's gonna have to build me an iceberg, and we're gonna have to explore it.
His research.
But
See you later.
But the facts we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can.
Or I can just give my reaction to it. Damn.
That's crazy.
So okay, hold on. You went by so fast. I didn't have the time to
process the
all that.
information.
So why did he shoot her?
Because he wanted her to abort the child that they had together.
Okay.
And she wasn't gonna do that.
Okay, that I got.
So he was like, I'm gonna kill that baby, and went bap, bap, bap.
And what was the drug deal about?
There was no drug deal.
So that was made up. Do you have a source? I made it the fuck
I made
up.
it. So basically, what I've heard from like a lot of true crime podcasts that I've listened to is a lot of the time the guilty party tries to paint the victim as being the bad guy in their situation. So basically what they're trying to do is blame her for being in a drug deal and having him involved in that, and basically saying it was her own fault that she died.
She took the bullet and died. What do you want me to do about it?
She wanted drugs. I said no, but then she flipped off the drug dealer, and that's what happened.
That is so fucking weird.
It's messed up.
Yeah, no. There is a shockingly and an alarming amount of just sports players in general just being
Terrible.
absolutely freaks. Like, I don't... Like, what? Why can't you be like... Andre 3000, have a whole bunch of kids, right? But not like claim them. He has a whole bunch of kids with like not his wife, just some chick he liked. And it's just like, yeah, they're my children, but I don't pay child support or anything. I just kind of exist and just do kind of weird side quests.
He was probably trying to just cover up the fact that he was having a child.
But I don't know why. What's the psychological condition of I gotta end this thing?
Look, so sometimes, like I said, this guy probably has gone through a lot of head injuries at this point, so he's probably not exactly sound of mind.
I genuinely wonder.
Because this is still pre what's his face too, that the Patriots player who kind of went crazy and killed himself.
Who was? Now you have to tell me more. There's more.
Aaron Hernandez.
You know, I don't know the full story on that.
So from what I remember, because they had like a whole documentary on that, basically, it was basically the what's going on currently with Antonio Brown is basically very similar to what was going on with him, where like he just started acting irrationally, and I think he beat his girlfriend.
I do remember.
That's what got him kind of kicked out of the NFL. And then following that, he ended up killing himself. And during the autopsy, they found out that his brain was basically like mush from all the concussions and stuff.
And he was, when was he playing seasonal wise?
That was like maybe 10 years ago. I'll have to, I'll fact check that real quick, but that was within our lifetime.
That is so weird. I know up until recently they got really strict with like player stuff, like really recently, like in the last.
He died 2017.
Wow, like in the past like 5 years or whatever. At least six. It might be 6 now. Time is a blur, but that's sometimes I think as a kid even I realized like the reason why I probably didn't like football was specifically for that reason, and with my more developed mind, it's just the like. Maybe we shouldn't be throwing ourselves at each other at that fucking speed, because like genuinely, like I know for a majority of the time, it's not for the entire case where it happens, but it's like some players end up being okay and having some problems, and then there's just batshit insane ones, and I'm just like I don't really know if we should be doing this. I know like one apple doesn't ruin the whole pot, but like in some cases, I'm gonna be like, dude, there's too many like cases of where these guys, like the Gators, for example, just end up being fucking insane. Except for like their quarterback that 1 year, he ended up being fine.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Patriots in 2010, and then we skip forward to 2013. The body of Odin Lloyd is found near Hernandez's mansion in Massachusetts.
God.
So it's like 3 years, and there's a dead body in his yard.
That's so fucked up.
It's like
wild.
Yeah, that's a crazy story to even look into.
Dark football facts.
Yeah, the football, it's fun. Like it's a fun sport to watch and play, but man, like
is it dark?
It people get messed up.
I don't even like. I'm thinking about it genuinely. It probably honestly goes like football in terms of darkness. Football, soccer. I'm picking in between MLB and NBA. I'll go MLB then NBA. And then there's probably like, ping pong.
The ping pong.
There's no drama in
The ping pong conspiracy is even darker. They're like slaves.
You know what? Anything involving China.
The ping pong slavery.
But like I know FIFA has some sketch ass shit that goes on, but like that's just the nature of the sport at one point, because I'm not seeing like guys like a few years later just go like, I killed my wife. It's just, you don't hear that, but like in football, it's just like it's every like 5 years or something.
It's all
brain stuff.
Brains just getting messed up bad.
Like,
and like they've made a lot of
go play golf.
They've made a lot of efforts to fix that, but like there's only so much you can do when somebody's running full speed at you. Like scientists have done enough egg drop challenges to know that at some point you can't pad an egg enough to survive terminal velocity.
Yeah. Like it's dumb. Like I won't lie. Like if I were to, I think if my dad would even admit, like coming into it's like at one point, yeah, like it's a bit much.
Yeah.
But whoever wins, my team wins.
My team wins. And I know people get upset with the rules being changed. Like,
but when you hear stories like that, it's like 3 years. I have a dead
like,
person in my yard. It's like, okay.
You gotta be like, at some point, like the contact of the game's not like the biggest part of the game. The biggest part of the game is the people running and catching.
And you know what? I'd even argue this. I think even in terms of boxing, I think football's still worse. Yeah,
because with boxing, it's still more body shots than they try to avoid like face shots.
Yeah,
for the most part.
And the fact that we hear more stories about football than boxing as well. I hear more stories about football than boxing and MMA combined. And in MMA, it's usually like, oh, I have a broken ankle or I broke my wrist.
I think MMA is surprisingly actually safer.
It is safer than boxing, because in boxing you do headshots.
Because I think the gloves too, they say that it's basically better to box with no gloves on than having gloves.
I think the statistic is in boxing more headshots occur because you can't hit the leg, so it's just body up. But in MMA, it's like leg swipe, elbow to the face, and then like the ref stops it at that, so it's like done. So it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1 stop. So if you start doing the math over like a 12-year career, it's like the numbers are massively significantly different. So it's just like thinking about that, and then like football, it's just like, okay, if these two, the pinnacle of physical combat sports, are technically safer than football, we might have a problem.
And those guys don't have as much padding as football players do.
Yeah, and they're constantly training almost like year round, so they never stop. There's not like the 13-week. How long is the season? 13 weeks.
Well, even then, the players are still training constantly.
And it depends on the player, but like with most of those MMA guys, to be on the top level, it's like it's daily training, and then like when your fight coming up, it's like even intense, and you're still taking headshots consistently, and so on and so forth.
That's true. Yeah, no matter what, they're still getting hit.
And the fact that it's the football players going crazy as well. Note, I will say there is still some cases of like MMA and boxing guys going fucking insane. So there is a massive correlation between physical combat sports and football and not good scenarios for spouses.
I mean, if you really think about it too, though, just think of the scenario: a 7-foot, 300-pound guy barreling full speed at a guy like Colby is like,
poor Colby. Bye, Bob.
It's like, what's Colby really gonna do against that if he's like not prepared for that hit?
It's the equivalent of like Ant-Man fighting Thanos. And
pretty
like
much.
Ant-Man can't change his size.
He's just getting absolutely rocked. And he, not only that, but the inertia of that is going to cause him to hit the ground even harder.
Yeah.
So that's the initial hits causing his brain to get rocked. And then the contact to the ground. And then probably there's chances after that players will land on top of him. So that's even more potential injury.
Dude, once you say it like that, it's like almost like if we're doing by twos, that's almost like 6 times the damage on like a boxing or MMA. Dude, football is like highly. I'm now
dangerous.
seeing it.
It's a dangerous sport.
Why would anybody participate in this?
It's still fun, but it's like
borderline gladiatorial.
Like
oh my God.
when it comes to certain scenarios, it's like, especially the NFL, you can definitely tell. Like, they say they want to go for a lot of safety, but in reality, it's partially the fans' fault too, but like they don't truly care about the safety, because when they do have safety regulations that come into play to try to help the players, a lot of the times you'll start hearing the fans start complaining.
Why aren't they beating the shit out of each other? I don't know, because I won't want them to beat their wife.
That's probably the craziest thing about any like discourse I hear about, like when they change like a rule to not tackle a certain way. Like, football players are getting weak nowadays. It's like, no, they just don't want them to have life-altering brain injuries.
So I like to put it in this perspective. It's basically the equivalent of like politics, where it's just like, this is clearly a bad policy and is really bad. Insert left or right like ideas. That's a bad thing. We should not. We're soft nowadays.
Don't do that.
People were dying because of this. It's basically the equivalent of football. Yeah. This guy received such a traumatic brain injury. League round, we're gonna put extra padding in the helmet, and then make that certain tackle illegal. Like, you will be suspended from games. The fans. This is pussy shit. What are we doing? Trying to prevent death. Kill him.
Or, oh my gosh, that was one too that I saw back during the playoffs this last season, was when Patrick Mahomes got hit super hard that his helmet like shattered. And people were mad that he was able to walk off the field and replace his helmet without getting costed any like time penalties or anything. It's like, dude, do you want him dead or something? Like, his alternative was stay out there and die. Like,
play with no helmet. Go.
Like, I was like, of course they're gonna stop the time for him to change his helmet. That's literally protecting his life.
Yeah. I didn't even argue. I know my dad has some wild sports takes, but I think the one thing he does in specific is like, you have to be safe. I think that's the one thing my dad says. It's just like, I think he's watched a lot of those documentaries, and it's so weird. His takes on certain things are wild. Remember the movie stuff? I had to tell Nat about that.
His movie takes, terrible.
Insane.
Surprisingly, his sports takes,
actually
very good.
Very good. He's like, no, there's some rules that are fucking funky. Because I think my dad has watched all of these significant injuries take place on screen. I think if he were to be right next to us, my dad would be like, I remember that one. I remember that one. I remember that one. I really remember that one.
I think that's just a dad lore thing, that they just remember every single major sports injury that they've ever seen. It like alters their being inside.
It's like, I don't think the players should be doing that. I think my one thing my dad does hate is certain tackles. I think a lot of sports fans do, but like in specific with him, he gets fucking pissed. He's like, he's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Because there's a lot that they're not supposed to do, but they still get away with doing.
Yeah, that's the one thing my dad gets really pressed with. But yeah, my dad, if we had him on the podcast, I think if we were to do a slideshow, it'd be like, I remember that. I remember that. I was eating pasta while watching that one. I remember that. I remember that.
Because there's a thing too that I've been seeing recently occur more often, is instead of like players tackling, that they'll just kind of like hug the other player and just stop them in their tracks.
I think that's the best way of tackling.
Which honestly, I don't have any problem with that. I think that's fine.
You know, I don't know, maybe this has been done, hasn't been done, but like scientifically, what's the safest way to tackle?
I think it probably is that.
Yeah,
it has to be.
I would think so.
Like, because if you just imagine running full speed at somebody, and instead of knocking them to the ground, you just grab them. Yeah. Like, you're not applying extra force by sandwiching them between yourself and
the ground,
the grass. It's only between you two, and with that, the energy should kind of disperse throughout your bodies and equipment a lot better. So the that they do that now, I think is very good.
They do?
Yeah, that's what they do for the most part. Like I was just saying, for the most part, when I see a tackle, they will hug. There's still a lot that go for like the legs, which I guess I get when you're dealing with high speed players. You want them to trip. But like I think they're trying to move away from that as well because there's been a lot of leg injuries from that.
You literally with football. There is no upsides. It is all either you'll be kind of safe or you will get an injury. There's no in between.
There's no in between. You have to be playing safe or you play to destroy your body.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If my kid actually says, "Dad, can I do football?" I'll be like, "Can you do baseball or any other sport? Don't do that one."
How do they do basketball or something that's not contact at all?
No contact. I don't know. Basketball gets fucking.
It gets crazy, but it's not like as bad.
Yeah, I'd rather do baseball.
It's a fun sport to watch, unlike baseball.
I think baseball's an acquired taste. I won't lie. The only time baseball is fun is like it's at like the top of the seventh, and you're watching the last bit, the 30 minutes, and it's just like neat.
Yeah, the rest of it, they really do like that whole game is just filler until
like the last
few minutes.
If anything, dude, I think what we should probably end up doing with like MLB is just like continuously making it shorter. Like how long does like a football game last? Like an hour?
It's 2 hours, but for the most, I think most of that is because of commercial breaks, halftime. So baseball doesn't really have a halftime like football does.
No, it really doesn't.
So honestly, they could make baseball a lot shorter.
I think they can really honestly go from like 8 innings to like 6 innings. I don't think
because even 6 innings from watching like the high school games and stuff, they're so they drag on.
It's because of the pitchers. I think the shot, it's not called the shot clock, but it's like the clock should actually just even be shortened even more because it's like pick up the fucking pace. It's not that you can throw a 90 mile per hour fastball. You can fucking get set up even quicker. Come on.
Yeah, baseball would be such better sport if it was more fast paced.
No.
Like, it's so agonizingly slow.
Literally every single one of those players is just basically a fucking a quarterback. They're throwing 90 mile per hour balls. It should not be taking like 3 hours for a fucking sport like this. Yeah. Make it 6 innings. It'd be way better. Baseball MLB needs an update like chess.
Needs an update.
Yes.
There's and I know people like baseball a lot, but it's like, dude, it's very hard to get into.
It is extremely hard. Like I'm barely teetering on the edge. And the only thing I really stood up for is just for the drama, like for all sports. I'll be like, what do you mean the new outfits are fucking ass as fuck? Let me lock in on this lore. Yeah, apparently they screwed up royally on like the MLB suits this year. They're like really bad.
I thought I heard something about that, but I don't know if
uniforms.
I don't know if my brain replace that with a different sport. So
it's been for
I know that happens with sports a lot though.
Yeah, uniforms and outfits are always getting constantly changed, and like a lot of players just don't like it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like it either. I'm like, I like the old drip.
No,
you're wearing this new one, so the Nike logo is constantly on screen. I'm like,
that's stupid.
Bro, it is. Somebody did the math on the Nike logo showing up. It's like on screen in baseball the entire time. There's only like maybe out of like 3 to 4 hours of a game, 10 minutes.
Dude, advertising.
Maybe even less.
Advertising ruins sports.
Big time.
So much. Like the fact that it's shoved down your throats 24/7 when you're just trying to watch people compete. Awful.
It's honestly garbage.
Yeah.
But I understand why they need to do it because if you look at like E-leagues or something, it's like nobody's making money. We actually need sponsors. So it's just like, okay.
But like,
makes sense.
I feel like there's a better way to do it than to just be like Nike
or like the local Atlanta stuff or whatever. My dad watches the Atlanta channel when it shows up. But yeah, it's sports are fucking wild. They're really funky.
Are insane.
You know, we'll leave on this last one. The last FIFA that happened literally was built with slave labor.
That's crazy.
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that.
When they, so a few years ago, I can't remember specifically, when Qatar got like announced to hold FIFA, everybody simultaneously went, "What? That country is not even the size of Washington, and we're having FIFA take place in it. Where's all your stadiums?" They somehow managed to get all the stadiums done in time. Now, how do you think that happened, Caleb? They hired slaves from India, and now they can't leave Qatar like at all. So yeah, FIFA's terrible. Like if there was like if there was equivalent to one of those, that's at the bottom. Qatar literally hiring. I shouldn't say hiring, but it basically is hiring slaves for like really bad conditions to make the stadiums. It's bad. If anything, you know how the Olympics shows up, like you know the Olympics that happened in Brazil, and like so many years later, they're like seeing like the decay, the corpse of like those years Olympics just rotting. I feel like that will happen very soon with the Qatars.
Even
like,
then, when the Olympics were there, they basically just like put a Band-Aid on all the problems that were happening in Brazil at the time.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they literally had like sewage water leaking into the Olympic pools. And they're just like,
don't worry about it.
That's fine.
Just swim, Michael Phelps.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it was bad. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, I like sports. The sports themselves is cool.
Every sport has a dark underbelly.
But the behind the scenes is fucking crazy. And I'll say that about life in general.
Yeah.
Like Google and all that stuff. Like, you know, YouTube overlords and all. But like, there's always some sketch shit happen.
All the time. And you can only blame terrible people for that.
And then Apple recently, we'll end it off on this, recently used a whole bunch of YouTubers videos for like AI learning. And some of them were some of the JoJo YouTubers I know.
Really?
Yeah. So like there was like about 173,000 videos like basically ripped and used. And it's like, didn't YouTube just make a giant policy not to do that? So I think Apple straight up just did some illegal shit, like on the down low. If there was an Apple iceberg, this is at the bottom. They just literally scraped YouTube for fucking info stuff. So like some of the AI that might be used in Siri recently is built off of the foundations of JoJo.
No way,
YouTube.
yeah, that's actually just illegal.
Yeah, like I can hold on. I'm gonna show you because it's. I'll even put it. Caleb will put it on screen, but no, it's real. It's on the floor. I'll show you. Like this just recently happened. Because YouTube just straight up said we don't really like AI content. They're on the negative side. Give me a moment. I have to pull it up. I gotta look up Caleb's different Caleb. So hold on. So kind of read and then kind of just go to the side and you'll eventually see the whole story.
Okay.
But yeah, no, like they literally scrape shit.
So learn that Apple and other companies used one of my videos without my consent to train their AI, and I'm angry.
Yeah.
Eleuther AI took the transcript of my old canceling myself video to help train their model without permission.
Yes. And then it should be River Dude next. And like, yeah, they just straight up stole like the scripts and stuff. It's like, what the fuck?
So,
yeah.
So they can use their voices
basically
pretty much now?
Yeah.
For like a Siri voice.
Potentially. But like the cadence and dialogue, like for the natural speaking voice, they can copy.
Weird. Yeah, that's actually just illegal.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah. And then if you go to Caleb's, hold on, I can show you. And like Caleb was like, what the fuck?
That's just straight illegal.
Yeah, they I don't know why.
Or at least it should be if it's not.
It definitely is. And there's like this weird like thing, like there's trends psychologically of Bruno Bucciolati and why people hate Joseph Joestar. I know why these videos got scraped. It's like psychology. There's going to be a lot of linguistics, why people hate a certain thing. Linguistics again. The loyalty effect of Passion. This one's kind of more of a abstract video that Caleb did, but it's like there are a lot of clearly there's a trend with a lot of these where it's just like there's emotion or dialogue within them that they want. So it's just like, yeah, there's just some sketch shit happening like at all times.
How do they know what videos got scraped by Apple?
I guess somebody fucking found it. I guess I didn't look into it too heavily here, but it's just people found it.
So did they typically go for like smaller YouTubers?
Not typically. Most of these guys I see on screen are big.
I'm thinking like Markiplier level. Like, is a Markiplier video part of this?
Oh,
like
definitely.
Jacksepticeye?
Well, there's 100,000 videos here. At least maybe one or two are like PewDiePie, Mark.
Because I'm curious what like they're really looking for when it came to those. If they just grabbed like a random, or like if there's like a certain reason why they chose those videos.
In the YouTube AI training data set, they're doing something. Mark my words, conspiracy time. We're getting early. It's Schizogram. Apple and other bigger companies, definitely NVIDIA, because NVIDIA became a $1 trillion company recently. You know, BlackRock, insert Johnny Silverhand style. There's definitely some sketch shit going on.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like YouTube definitely like now is just like they're not. If there was a graph, it's middle leaning towards. No, don't do that. But like you can.
Dead internet theories really. That seems to be the theme of this whole year.
New dead internet theory because the deviation. One's just schizo, and the other one's like, wait a minute, it is mostly bots now.
Yeah, well, that makes it. I don't even think that makes it a theory anymore. That just makes
it's basically proven
reality.
Well, unless this is linguistics, but like technically we shouldn't be calling them theories because theories are the proven versions of the other word. But technically this one's correct because it's like, there's just thousands of bots.
So the previous one would be dead internet conspiracy, and now it's dead internet theory.
Yes, it should be.
Now it's proven that we're heading towards that sort of reality.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like 50% of interactions are all bots or something.
It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even with that too, with the Apple AI stealing those videos, that's just like a sign that now there's just going to start being more AI created videos going out. And at some point, the AI themselves will start creating their own channels and putting out their videos.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's definitely getting interesting. I will say, this is my prediction. By the end of the decade, by this decade, there will be like AI law. At least
there has to be. There has to be because at some point, it's going to start like actually truly affecting people's lives negatively to a point where like people are going to start losing jobs.
Now, my girlfriend is like using it casually for jokes, and I'm all like, doesn't your mom literally do it and pay for premium? She does that, by the way. I'm not joking. Like, and why it's important is she's doing it casually. Like, this is in the casual human mind at this point. So it's just like, by the end of the decade, and I will even say this, I don't think they're going to be beneficial for the common man. There's probably going to be like,
oh no,
companies will be able to, if you, those terms and agreements, terms and conditions are bullshit. I will stand on that fact. But like, you should really read the fine print now because there's definitely going to be AI nonsense in that bullshit.
Yeah.
Trust me. Discord kind of does it. They scan messages. A lot of the sites are now scanning for messages. It's fucking weird. It's getting like kind of like, okay, I didn't think Black Mirror would be real, but we're getting into there. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's scary. It's honestly kind of scary. Yeah. Looking forward.
Because it's like, and it wouldn't be scary if like companies were good and using them from like for tools, but it's because it's like up until recently, it's like really scummy how like government and like companies just really act. Like, you look at Amazon for personal example, it's like, Jesus Christ, it's just a slave house there. So it's like the minute you add robots, it's like, oh, we've gone.
It doesn't matter anymore because the robots don't have rights.
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck.
Currently,
and then that leads down an entirely different path. It's just we've literally called the future out with like all the stuff we did. It's literally I Am Robot. It's gonna happen. Yeah. When do you think it'll happen though? A robot rebellion? I think if everything goes down a bad path. By the end of our lifetimes, we will see a robot rebellion.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
But with how fast AI is like progressing, it's like, who knows? It could be.
I might be
sooner than
45, and they might be Terminator style.
that. It could be in 5 years.
Dude, you know what? You know what? This is weird. I think fucking Matt Pat called this.
I think so too.
I think he did. There was like a film theory he did, and it's just like it is
It's like one of his early videos.
Yeah, it was like I remember being in my mom's room watching that shit, and he kind of called it. It's like, yeah, don't. This is why I think Matt's a fucking genius. Don't write it off. And like now seeing it, it's just like, this is scary. Is this Web 3.0 now? 4.0? I think it's 3.0.
We're entering the new era.
It's definitely coming. And if it ever happened to me, I'd come to a podcast and start ranting like a motherfucker.
It's bullcrap.
This is bullshit.
This.
Those are my thoughts I just made up in my head. You don't fucking own shit, you bitch. If you own that, I own your. I just made myself pissed. If I can't use a manga panel or music in my videos, but you can claim my voice, bitch. Oh no, I'm gonna end the podcast. I'm about to start ranting. End the podcast. I'm gonna go fucking insane.
Well, that's gonna be it for this week's episode. So hopefully you enjoyed this little NFL dive that we did. Next week, look forward to next week's video. Movies part 4.
We
will watch Deadpool 3 and we will do a review on that, as well as probably Inside Out 2, which I haven't watched.
Oh, you haven't?
But Alex watched it. So
it was really good.
Anyway, we'll talk about that next week. Look forward to Skitstober. Also look forward to School Stories coming very soon. Alex is losing it.
I'm gonna fucking flip.
So we'll see you guys next time.
Deuces.
Peace out.
Ah! That's how you end it off.